Hello, my name is Heather Carpenter, and welcome to the Hayesville Primary School's second grade math overview and game plan presentation, designed and intended for parents and all other stakeholders committed to supporting our students in developing the math skills required for future success. Success in elementary math predicts future achievement in both middle and high school math and other subjects, and ultimately prepares students to be successful members of the community in the future. This presentation will first describe the mathematical processes and proficiencies we strive to develop in students throughout their mathematics education. We'll outline the framework for the progression of second grade math and the 4 critical areas instructional time will focus on, and will later suggest tools and resources that you, the stakeholder, may utilize to positively contribute to the student's mathematics journey throughout their education and beyond. Who is the stakeholder? A stakeholder is simply any individual or group that has an interest in or is impacted by the decision-making, activities, and outcomes that affect the student or educational system in some way. Family, school, and community stakeholders must partner up to collaborate, contribute, and participate in order to ensure that our students receive the best education possible and that a stronger community is built by preparing students to be successful members of the community in the future. Mathematical practice standards are the foundation for mathematical thinking and describe the ways developing students of math must engage with mathematics as they progress throughout their education and as their mathematical understanding advances. Think of these standards as the blueprint to creating progressive mathematical learning experiences that not only apply to the classroom, but to everyday life as well. Standard number 1, make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. The first mathematical practice standard simply means that students must understand the meaning of a problem and figure out the processes to solve it. This standard seeks to make math manageable for students and requires them to work until a solution is discovered. Standard number 2, reason abstractly and quantitatively. This standard means that students can apply abstract reasoning and understand that there are multiple ways to deconstruct a problem in order to find the solution. Quantitative reasoning means that the student can logically use symbols, pictures, and other representations to describe and understand all components of a problem rather than just how to compute them. Standard number 3. Construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others. This standard speaks to the need for students to understand mathematical language, or math talk, and requires them to use it to discuss, explain, examine, defend, and argue mathematical problems and their solutions. Students can take part in mathematical discussions in order to demonstrate and defend how they arrive at a particular solution. Standard number 4, model with mathematics. This standard means that students see and value how math works in and applies to their lives. Students will be able to use math skills to solve real-world problems and to understand the relevance of math outside of the classroom. Standard number 5, use appropriate tools strategically. This standard means that students can appropriately select and use all the various tools in the math toolbox, and through trial and error gain a deeper understanding of which tools to use and when. Standard number 6, attend to precision. This standard simply means the student understands that close enough is not good enough when it comes to math. Students understand that accuracy is a must in math and are able to use exact figures and calculations and express how they avoid miscalculations, approximations, and errors. Standard number 7, look for and make use of structure. This standard aims for students to look for patterns and structures in math. In other words, students recognize that similar patterns in math might be used to gain a deeper understanding of strategies for problem solving and to use that reasoning to solve more difficult problems later. Standard number 8. Look for and express regularity in repeated reasoning. Finally, this standard encourages students to understand how repeated mathematical reasoning might apply to other situations and problems. Being able to apply math reasoning in a broader sense ensures mastery rather than just memorization. Second grade Math Focus and Instructional Framework, or second grade course of study. In grade 2, math instructional time focuses on 4 critical areas. 1, increasing the understanding of base 10 notation. 2, building fluency with addition and subtraction. 3, using standard units of measurement. And 4, describing and analyzing time. These mathematical ideas are organized, connected, and sequenced throughout the school year to foster meaning making and are meant to build throughout the year, beginning with basic concept understanding and then finally developing toward problem-solving fluency. The North Carolina second grade math content standards outline clear and concise expectations for teaching and learning and are continually updated and improved to better serve teachers, students, and districts. They are organized by domain and explicitly define learning objectives. The Operations and Algebraic Thinking Standard. Students will represent and solve word problems within 100 involving addition and subtraction. Students will add and subtract within 20 using mental strategies. And students will work with equal groups of objects within 20, determining whether a group has an even or odd number of objects, ultimately building the foundations for multiplication. The Number and Operations in Base 10 standard. Students will understand place value and that the 3 digits of a 3-digit number represent values of hundreds, tens, and ones. Students will use place value understanding and properties of operations to add and subtract up to 3 2-digit numbers within 100 and ultimately within 1,000. The Measurement and Data Standard. Students will learn to measure and estimate lengths in standard units using appropriate tools and standard units of inches, feet, yards, centimeters, and meters, and by using these differing units of measurement to determine length in different ways. Students will relate addition and subtraction to problems involving similar units of length. Students will work with time and money, telling and writing time from analog and digital clocks to the nearest 5 minutes, using AM and PM, and solving word problems that involve coins and dollar amounts. And students will represent and interpret data with up to 4 categories, using picture graphs and bar graphs to represent a data set. The Geometry Standard. Students will learn to reason with shapes and their attributes, to recognize and draw triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagons, and hexagons, and to recognize and assign attributes of rectangular prisms and cubes, and to partition circles and rectangles into 2, 3, or 4 equal shares. Tools and resources to foster a growth mindset in our growing mathematicians here at Hayesville Primary School can be found at the North Carolina Collaborative for Mathematics Learning and also at the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. As stakeholders, we must recognize the importance of math skills for the future success of our students, and we can support children in developing these math skills by praising students in their math efforts and by modeling positive attitudes about math. It must be a shared commitment between all stakeholders teachers, students, families, and other community members to build powerful, proactive relationships through communication, collaboration, and consistency. As Helen Keller states, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much.